Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing? Hope all is well. Papa Snow here. All right, so one, I'm in the kitchen. I'm making some breakfast. Got to eat something, right? New diet, very important. But two, all right, so this morning I woke up. I was checking through some of the news articles, some of the groups I'm connected to. I had to leave a couple groups because I realized, like, somehow some of these, hate groups kind of got into my whole thing. And when you're like clicking like and stuff, you end up clicking the wrong thing sometimes. So it's important to go back through and take a look at some of the stuff that you're clicking on. Because sometimes when you are clicking away on Facebook, right, you can end up clicking on the wrong stuff. So it's important to go through. However, I don't believe in coincidences. So I do believe that there was a reason why I ended up clicking on one of these groups. While clicking on it, I noticed that there is some Guyanese politicians who are currently living in New York, right, connected to the former government, the APNU AFC government, who are now calling on our Afro-Guyanese GDF members to not stand up with the Indo-Guyanese in this conflict between Guyana and Venezuela. Yeah. I find that to be a lot of bullshit, right? First off, if you are living overseas, like you're living in America or England or Canada or one of those places, and you've got good insurance, you probably got a career, we just do our thing. Hold on. You ain't have nothing to do every day. Just like going on live. Try. Hey, Sam King. Check this out, right? I know you don't like what I have to say here. You're probably one of those black antagonists or, probably one of those people who just want to, like, keep things one way. I understand that. Okay? I definitely understand it. But check this out, right? You're probably expecting me to like cuss you up and get blocked or something on Facebook. But this is what I'm going to do. Blooks. Just blocked you, right? You just got deported from my page. Imagine that. How can you get deported from a Facebook page? You must be an idiot. First thing early in the morning. Come out here. You coming on my page trying to be relevant. Ooh, look at that. What do you think this is? Oh, maybe you think this is like Facebook is like your playground, right? Then you could come and do nonsense. Well, let me tell you what, right? Facebook has new rules. Not tired. Just tired of crap, guys. Yeah, so, like I was saying, there are people who live overseas in Guyana, from Guyana, telling Guyanese soldiers not to stand up with the people of Guyana in this fight. And they are actually drawing a division saying that, the Afro-Guyanese soldiers should not stand up. What was it? I think one of the statements was they should send their cutlass crew or something like that to deal with Venezuela. Well, let me tell you something real simple, right? Whether you're black, whether you're Indian, whether you're Portuguese, maybe you mix up like me, right? In the event that there's a war, right, and Venezuelan troops decide to come across into Guyanese territory, them people ain't got time. Whether you're black or whether you're Indian, they gonna kill both you dumb skunt. Let me explain this to you. They will kill both of you. Okay? They will more than likely torture your sons and do horrible things to your daughters. Whether you are Indian or black, right? So for Mr. Rickford Burke, who is out there in America, still drawing racial divisions between Guyanese, I'll tell you what. I want you to convince everybody who likes your agenda to just stand on one area Just show a clear separation between those who have sense and those who don't have sense. Right? We just need to see the clear separation so that we can see if there's any stupid people hiding within the mix. You see, because this is the problem, right? People want pelt stone, but they want to go and hide in the good crowd. They want to cause problems, but they want to duck in the car and cause problems. No, ladies and gentlemen, we need your help. We need you to help us filter out all of these racial people with these twisted ass agendas so that we could clean up our country. By the way, if Mr. Rickford Burke is a citizen of Guyana or affiliated to Guyana, I would like to encourage the current government to start to consider some actions of treasonous charges against this man. Because that man is trying to tear this country apart and leave this country open to victimization. He shouldn't even be allowed to touch base in Guyana. The amount of headache and instigation and problem that man causing. Where is the ERC in all of this? How can you have a man gone one thing telling the black part of our military not to work together with the rest of the military? You know what type of headache that is? Imagine when we soldiers, Guyana 1, I don't think we ever really had any war, right? So when we soldiers go there for the first time, they actually have to look and, do something, pidgey winking the gun them all over the place. They gotta worry if the man behind them might be shooting them in the back. But it does prove a good point that Mr. Burke kept saying it clearly that the strength of the military of Guyana is predominantly on the shoulders of Afro-Guyanese. And because of that, he is of the belief that if he plays the racial card, the Afro-Guyanese would become disloyal to Guyana in itself and use this as an opportunity to, I guess, victimize the Indian ones. Well, let me tell you something. Let me give you a big laugh, Mr. Burke. A big laugh. If it be the case that this country became racially divided, I mean, it already is, but because of people like you. But if it becomes further racially divided, let's say all the black people in the country, right? Because I know plenty of black people is just sit here and think about this. Let's say all the black people in the country got together and say, you know what? We're gonna take over. Check this out. There's about 300,000 to 400,000 Spanish people that really don't want to be in Venezuela, that don't want to be in Brazil, that don't want to be punishing. And let me tell you what. In an instant, can't you be surprised them people be given citizenship to fight for their new country? And you'll see how fast the whole scenario changes. Don't make joke, That's a serious thing, Don't make joke. Because when you play them games, you're playing games with people's life. Now, one thing I know about human beings, we like to survive. We know how to survive. Right? So, please, Mr. Burke, your political agenda should not involve putting the people of this country to fight one another. Because it wouldn't work out well. Trust me on this one. It would not work out well. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, this seems to be the problem, right? But of these politicians. It's called a smokescreen. And that's exactly what these jackasses want to do right now. Burke knows him and his people are in a lot of shit. They know it. They know that, they're witch hunting of the PPP. When they got into office, it is about to come back their way. It's already started. I wouldn't even call it witch hunting. It's witch hunting if there was nothing going on and by magic you start finding some sort of evidence or you start finding something. But this ain't witch hunting. This is just catching all of these people with their hands in the cookie jar, right? And this is where everybody has a problem. Because, you know, like, come on, man. You got to think, man. Within a certain space of time, man went and buy a yacht, right? People become millionaire and billionaire, right? People who were lawyers and everything start manipulating the law and adding zeros with a 7 and all sorts of stuff to their account. It just started going all over the place. And I don't blame the PPP. Hunt them down. Why? Because it was real simple. Their whole campaign was supposed to be based on integrity. The integrity of Mr. David Granger. Bullshit. More like the incapacity. Half the time the man was hospitalized or flying around or listening to somebody else. He was just a mouthpiece and not even a very valid one. Right? Now I hear everyone talking, Guyana needs a strong opposition. And when I hear that coming from people like Burke and AFC and APNU members talking about Guyana needs a strong opposition, I have to laugh. It leaves me to laugh because that means that it has never had a strong opposition. That means that they were never a strong opposition. That means that they were just problematic people. But they are right, and I've said it before. Guyana does need a strong opposition. Guyana needs an opposition that has their head on right. And definitely what we do not need is a racially motivated opposition. Because we've had that. We have had that. And I don't know about you, but how many times are you going to try something and see it fail before you decide, you know what, maybe I should try something different. Maybe I should, bet on a different horse for this race. Because the other horses, the limb, the leg broke up, the barn retarded. They can't deliver. They have not delivered. Everything is a promise. You're going to have a good life. Welcome to the good life. Let's destroy the color green and make the color green, mean embarrassment. I don't know. I'm so upset with what they did with the color green. It just left me like stupidity, right? To know that the poor color green now just get bad name because of them. I paid to stand in the color green the other day. Somebody said, oh, no green. I get nervous. It's just, how I can use green anymore? But, it's just a lot of nonsense. But ladies and gentlemen, our country is going through some serious shit right now. Some of our citizens are actually being held captive in a foreign country that is claiming territory over area that has somehow been agreed to be ours. And it also does have to be a major, it is a major economic zone for our country, right? And something that can seriously help change and turn the tide of our country around, right? And you mean to tell me that in our time of need and distress, we have someone who claims to be affiliated to Guyana calling for our forces, our armed forces, to work against each other? Think about this. If that was done in the U.S., if that was done in any military anywhere around the world, that would be considered treason. You're going to the brig. You're going to jail. You ain't getting much of a trial there. You're about to get, hammered away. Right? Yet somehow, we as Guyanese, we're allowing that. We're allowing that. We're tolerating that. is there no sanction? Is there no law in place that can be used to stop these things from happening? I would think that there is. The other day, I got pulled into the police station simply because I had to warn the public that someone was pretending that they were affiliated with me, trying to collect money under false pretense. But here's the thing. Maybe Burke know what he's saying. Because, you know, all of that there seems to be more racially motivated out of the police department. Because it was a black woman that I talk about. I happened to warn my viewers that there was a black woman who was pretending to be associated with me to collect money from my viewers. And because I mentioned it, I was arrested. How fair is that? Right? So it leads me to question what you can and can't really say. Because, I mean, I understand and I respect the whole concept of Black Lives Matters, but other people's lives matters too, right? You can't be wrong and strong, man. This is where the problem comes from, you know. The wrong and strong behavior. Right? However, ladies and gentlemen, it just leaves me clueless because sometimes I'm not sure what to say, what to do. But I see a man basically trying to turn a whole country against each other, endangering lives, spreading racial propaganda and hate on Facebook. But I don't see Facebook sanctioning that shit either. Right? What does this world come to? I wonder if they're one of those Thabies that I heard about in the news the other day. I think they are. Indecisive. Right? And it's crazy. But maybe somebody out there is watching this and they could show me some sense in this whole thing. But yes, I do believe that Mr. Burke is absolutely correct. Guyana does need a solid, strong opposition. However, Guyana needs a balanced opposition. The job of the opposition is not just necessarily to oppose, and I think this is where we have things wrong, right? The PNC was a horrible opposition because all they ever did was oppose. I didn't see them really go forward with anything positive. All I ever saw them doing was oppose, right? The one time that I didn't see the PNC oppose was when they became APNU. And, well, they did not oppose the no confidence motion. At least one of them agreed to the no confidence motion. Thank you, Charan Das. National hero, baby. National hero. Right? But yes, we do need an opposition. We need a strong, solid, and valid opposition. We need an opposition that is not racially motivated. Provided that we can have that and we have an opposition that can help focus toward, the actual issues that are affecting Guyana, then Guyana can go places. Because I do believe that no government should be sitting in office unchecked, right? That is a horrible thing to have as well. So you need some degree of balance. Right? So balance is going to be a key thing, right? Balance brings accountability. Accountability helps with transparency. Balance, transparency, and accountability assist with justice. Make sure that you have a fair system for everyone to play in. Right? And provided that we have that, I am pretty sure that Guyana could move forward without much of a headache or much of a problem. And everybody could be happy. However, in the absence of a good opposition, you will have more corruption, right? And that is exactly what happened before. And we want to avoid it from happening. And corruption on those levels are very bad because that's where the opposition and the current government works together against the people, right? And we have never actually had a real government where we've had a real solid opposition for Guyana. We've had people who had their own agendas, right? And that's a truth. That's a common truth. But we haven't really had real opposition for Guyana. I think the only real opposition we actually had, right, was when the PPP was actually out of office and they were the opposition, because then they became an actual opposition, right? As opposed to, what APNU and PNC was doing for years, which is just, you oppose everything, good and bad. That's not right. You can't oppose good stuff too, There's some things that you should oppose and there's other things that you shouldn't. And your decision should always be based on a public consensus, or what is actually more valid or better for the public, or at least your constituents. However, Guyanese politics is different. For Guyanese politics, these politicians, they only care about their constituents' opinion until they get where they're going. After they get where they're going, story done. Them is big bye now. And when they become big bye, you can't tell them anything, Not just that you can't tell them anything. You don't get the opportunity to tell them anything unless they're making an appointment or meeting for you. Right? I mean, you know how many people, the amount of people that I knew that supported David Granger and all of them, and when Granger and his boys got into office, those people never even get 5 minutes of their time. They had absolutely no time with their own constituents. They raised their pay. They did everything they had to do for them and their direct circle of people. But other than that, they didn't do too much. They took care of their medical. Some of them got nice homes. Plenty people got nice car. Some of them still paying for those cars. And now they don't have the job, so I'm interested to see, how those things are gonna work out. But I'm just watching, because let me tell you this one thing that I know for a fact: plenty people who are associated with the last government, they did something that anybody with sense knows you should not do, and that is simple: you don't hang your hat where your hand can't reach. And many of them did that. And now many of them are looking for ways to avoid collections, avoid debt, avoid jail. And what Mr. Burke is doing from America, he is trying to create a smoke screen for them. He wants to create as many big problems. They're trying to bully, they're trying to exploit this country. It's called extortion. When you say something like, we're telling all of the Afro-Guyanese soldiers not to stand up with the rest of the country while we are fighting an outside enemy, then you're trying to extort the country. That's a form of bullyism. But it also brings me to another point. And that point is real simple. The other races in this country better get some sense. And you better take your national services very seriously. If not, if it be the case that the East Indians in the country, who benefit from the country greatly as well, do not want to join the armed forces, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Yemen got people that need help. Syria got people that need help. Bring them. Make them citizens. They'll fight for this country. Anybody who's willing to fight to protect Guyana should be given a place in Guyana. Because we have people in Guyana that don't appreciate being here. That all they want to do in this country is to cause strife and division. So let me tell you something. If you're willing to fight for my country is willing to stand with you. This is a fact. And if you are a true patriot of Guyana, anyone who is attempting to destabilize us or to weaken our military arm or to turn us against one another, especially when we are facing an outside threat, you should be considered an enemy of the state. And you should not have any mercy granted to you. Because the amount of lives you are disrupting and jeopardizing just simply to run your mouth, you are a criminal against your own country. And I am hoping that this reaches the security minister. I'm hoping that this reaches everyone. I'm hoping that it reaches the ERC. I'm hoping that this thing reaches a lot of people. And I would like to encourage persons to go through and check and see the propaganda that is currently being put up. Because let me tell you something. And I also call upon all the decent black Guyanese or Afro-Guyanese, however you want to label yourself. I just consider you Guyanese, but somehow somebody keep putting a division there, right? So let me tell you, you need to stand up and you need to speak your part. You can't let idiots like Burke be out there talking for you, you know. Before people feel that's what all of you believe. I do believe that you have your mind, your own mind. I do believe you can speak for yourself. Don't let idiots like Burke make people believe that all black people in Guyana got a problem with Indians. Or got a problem with the other races. Or that the Guyanese blacks don't want to fight for this country. Because let me tell you something. This is Guyana. And it is all of our home. Primarily, it's the Amerindian people home first, though, right? Let me be for real, right? But other than that, then welcome we. So this is all of our home. And we are equally obligated to defend it. Those who do not stand up to defend Guyana, well, we don't want you here. Bottom line. Bottom line. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, we need to speak out against people like Burke. We need to give those people that he is trying to con, we need to give them a good direction where they can manifest their energy together. Right? Alright, not tired. Still waking up. Having breakfast. People say there's not going to be a war with Venezuela. That's good. I'm happy if there's not going to be a war with Venezuela. Do you want to be prepared or unprepared just in case? Let me know. My house isn't going to burn down. But I have fire insurance, right? Think about it. You ain't gonna die as you walk out your house. But you got life insurance just in case you do, right? Think about it. You know how to drive, but you still wear a seatbelt, don't you? Why? Not just in case? Just in case, right? Good. So, let me tell you something. And for people who say there might not be a conflict with Venezuela, let me just put some reality out there for you, right? Let me put some truths out there for you. Okay? Nicolas Maduro is not a Venezuelan. He is a Colombian. Okay? He was left there because Chavez left his ass there. Understand what I'm telling you. Nicolas Maduro is not a Venezuelan. And there's a high probability that he really does not give a shit about Venezuela or its people. I want you to understand this. I need the Venezuelans to understand this at the same time. If Maduro goes to war and Venezuela goes down deeper, Maduro doesn't give a shit. It was never his country from the start. Do you guys know that? How many of you know that? Good. For those of you who don't know. So that man country, you know, that man ain't got value to scut. Right? So these are some things that people need to understand. Yeah, Karen, I understand. Yeah, the U.S. signed agreements and stuff like that. Okay, good. But let me tell you something. Venezuela there, right across the border. It ain't gonna take them 30 minutes to send a plane over and drop 2 bombs on us. It's gonna take well over an hour before American forces can scatter to defend us, though. It's gonna take time. Not to mention, with all of the breaches in border security over the last 5 years, especially amidst of all of these talks, what makes you think that we don't already have insurgents in our country? Imagine, we watch TV and we still don't learn nothing. It's crazy. How do you know there's not a couple of Spanish men over here waiting to take our heads off? I ain't saying that that is the case, right? So don't go out there attacking Spanish people. But how do you know? Ricardo, one fight the aircraft, okay, fine, not the problem. They got an insurgent down here. They start loosing chemical bombs on a scud from right inside this country. What can we do? We have mercury. What if somebody knows how to break it down and to make dimethyl mercury? Then what happens? We have cyanide. We have acids. We have all sorts of compounds. We have uranium. We have a lot of things. Right? Ricardo Singh, like you're missing the point. You keep taking this thing all the way to Venezuela. I keep dealing with this thing directly. There's a jackass out there trying to turn our armed forces against one another. And at the same time, all you could do is you could keep jumping over the Venezuela story. Venezuela story is a very real story. But tell me something, Ricardo. Why you don't put your face up? You telling people dreaming. What dream I dreaming, bro? I'm awake. Now, I'm not saying that it's guaranteed that it's going to happen. But I feel something funny with you telling me about I dreaming. Let me tell you something, Mr. Ricardo. You know what? Hold on. I did tell myself something before, and I'm gonna stay real to it. I don't know why I'm answering people without faces. I can block your dumb slut. When you come on this page and you want to leave a comment, right? Put your face behind it. How I know you're not the Venezuelan insurgent? Telling people, don't worry, it's gonna be good. And then come and drop a bomb on we scut. Telling me Venezuela only got one aircraft. You sound like you intimately know these people. You gonna tell me all them years, them selling oil, dealing with the Russians and the Chinese, right? And them ain't what? They ain't ready for war? When Venezuela has had to keep all these revolutionary groups in check from their Central American, Colombian boundary, what's this country really telling me, man? What do you think? There's a fairy tale. You must be the princess. You must be the princess. Okay. Well, that's good. That's all said and good, Karen Smith. It still don't change the fact, right? It still don't change the fact that there are people instigating racial violence and separations between, what's going on. Because somehow, it's easy for me to see what's going on when I watch. I get to sit here and seriously watch, I get to seriously watch everything. And I understand that people don't think about the bigger picture. But it's when that bigger picture starts to affect you, then you run helter-skelter, trying to figure out, oh God, I should have had this in place, I should have had that in place, I should have had this in place. But by then, it's too late. Yes, Natasha, cream cheese bagel. Right? Tell me something, Karen Smith. You know you live in an area with a set of teeth man and killer. You just leave your front door open. You just put your girl child in the short pants and put you up on your front step. Or you gonna lock you up in your house. You're gonna grill up your place. You might buy a security dog. You might hire a security officer. But let me tell you something. For you to tell us to rely on somebody else is for you to tell us to not be prepared ourselves. And I'm not really worried too much about the Venezuelan threat. I am worried more about the local internal threat, where you can have situations like somebody starts a racial war at the same time that we have this type of issue going on with Venezuela and starts screwing up the place and starts trying to blame somebody else, right? Because if it's one thing I know about Guyanese are wicked set of people too, right? We gonna wait till two people fighting and we gonna go and we gonna cause more problem in the mix. And one thing I can tell you about these politicians, they're all selfish, right? I failed to meet a genuine one yet. I failed to meet one yet. Everybody has a secret agenda. Everybody got something that they're doing. Right? Right? So, there's a lot of things that people need to pay attention to. However, for me, I don't have too much of a problem. Right? This, I'll tell you this. Being in Guyana as a red man, normally, some of the Indians don't like me because I'm a little too fair. Plenty black people don't like me, Scott, because I look like, I don't know, like a memory of a past slave master or something. I don't know, because some people are white boy. I don't know, like they got some mental issue in their head somewhere, right? Still stuck in the days of slavery or something. Gotta get out of that shit. You know, we're in 2020, 2021. Everybody's a free man these days, right? But some people are still living in that old-time slavery stuff. But I can tell you, one thing about my complexion and the fact that I can speak more than one language is, if something, I could tell you, is if something crazy is to happen, I can blend in. Yeah, real shit. I could blend in. You see, and then I would no longer be victimized for my complexion as a red man in Guyana. Because if they came over, there's a set of red people like me coming over. But let me tell you something, Guyana ain't ready for that much red, you know. We had one political party where the color was red, and that shake up the whole place. You still can't catch this up. You want so much out of red, come over here. Think about it. Yeah, you know, I look Spanish. I could blend in. It's not me who's going to get beat up. It's not me who's going to have my house kicked in the door and people shot up. I don't fight for my people, though. And when I say my people, I mean all the decent ones. There's some stupidity ones, Scott. I can sit back, Scott, and eat some popcorn while they getting one. I ain't lying. But then don't worry, I'll avenge you afterwards because you're still one of my citizen people. You know, let the other guy deal with you, but I'll deal with him. Guaranteed. I ain't gonna lie about that one. This is straight up. Tell you what's up. Right? But ladies and gentlemen, the issue here is a big issue. You know, and the main issue here is that we should not tolerate people driving a division between our military forces, especially when those divisions are based on racial ties. And I think that it definitely needs to be addressed. And I think that our Foreign Affairs Department, our Minister of Security, as well as, you know, the Chief of Staff for the U.S. Army, should also send Mr. Burke a warning notice, letting him know that America is also standing with Guyana in this fight. And if Mr. Burke is in the United States of America and his actions are considered treasonous against Guyana, then that will also endanger the lives of U.S. soldiers. Because if the U.S. soldier come to fight for Guyana, and they are on the front lines, and they look behind them, and they see an Afro-Guyanese soldier, they should not have to think, is this man really going to protect me? Or is this man going to shoot me in my back? Because of some sort of hidden racial agenda. Worse yet, you got this black power movement all over the world, making black people look bad. I don't know if black people think that, yo, the black power movement was something to make you look good. It did not make you look good. It was better you playing victim, Scott. Because the minute you start playing victim and you start playing bully, you show your true intention. Right away. I don't care what anybody say. If you're a victim, I'm a victim. We're not out there burning down shit. We're not out there bullying people. We're not out there making excuses and every day, oh, it's my color, it's my skin color. No, we ain't doing that shit. We out there addressing the matters. And yeah, I got a little black in me too. And that's why I could tell you, black reasoning ain't got no seasoning. Every black man I ever know in my life tell me that. He said, just say it as it is, boy. Say it as it is. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been saying it as it is. right? And I know a lot of people, they don't like that. They don't want to agree with it. They don't want to accept, hey, it's facts, it's true. But it's time for us to get rid of all of this racial bullshit, right? And stop listening to people, especially Guyanese politicians, these old dirty bastards, right? Who could not make anything for themselves by being productive, by being productive. So their only way to be known is to turn people against each other. Right? Right? So people need to focus and pay attention. You'd be surprised how significant this little country called Guyana has become within a certain space of time. The dynamics of our country on the international market has changed. And most people don't think about the bigger picture. Most of our view is very narrow as to what we see. But for those who see the bigger picture, those who got sense, I'm sure that you will agree with what I have said here today. Either way, for the rest of you out there who likes to, create problems, congratulations. It's easy to create problems. But we are recruiting people who can create solutions. So for those of you who are interested in being part of a team that creates solutions, who is not really politically motivated, religiously motivated, you contact us, right? Become a part of the revolution. This is a revolution of mind. It's a revolution of consciousness, right? A revolution of spirituality, right? So make sure that you know that there is a place for you if you're a decent thinking human being. In the meantime, take care. God bless you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.